Hello friends, today we are going to have a chat about life updates, what's going on around here as we transition from summer to fall, and we do have one kind of big announcement that fits in with the questions that I have to answer today. So I'll be sharing that a little bit later in the video. A couple weeks ago on our email list, I asked for questions. In case you didn't know, we have an email newsletter. I send out an email almost every Monday, just letting people know what's going on behind the scenes, or just like videos that might be coming up, or if there's something special going on, it comes out in the email. It's just another way to connect with us. I put the link down in the description of every video, but somebody suggested that I put a QR code here that you can scan with your phone, especially if you're watching it on TV, if you want to sign up for that weekly email list. I won't spam you. I just send out, like I said, an email if something important goes on or there's something cool going on. I share a lot of pictures on the email list that I never share anywhere else. Anyways, if you're interested in getting on that email list, feel free to do it. If not, totally understand too. Our email boxes can all be just overflowing. So a few weeks ago, I sent out an email saying, what questions do you have about our life? And 213 responses came in. It was a lot. It was very fun to read through. And then I got an idea. I put the responses into ChatGPT and I said, please put these in by category so that it could like group them all, you know, because they were kind of all over the place, and it grouped them by different things: family and personal life, family routines, faith and values, pets and home life, Alaska life and weather, cooking and kitchen, health, fitness, and weight loss. That was a big one. Travel and adventures, wildlife and hunting. So over 200 responses and questions. Some of them were repeats and it like grouped those together for me. So fun to see what you guys want to know about our lives. We share a lot here on YouTube, so it's fun to see what kind of things you guys still wonder about even after watching our videos. So today I'm going to focus on a certain topic. I really actually like doing these type of videos because I feel like I'm sitting and chatting with a friend. They're a little bit just more fun and relaxed for me. I'm not having to carry the camera all around. So I got my heated blanket here and I'm ready to answer some questions. And I think to get through all these questions, I would like to try and make this a weekly or monthly video. I don't know how often I'll be able to do it. Maybe this would be a good list to get through this winter. So if you have other questions that you'd like me to answer, or you want to add your question to it, feel free to leave those down in the comment section of this video and I will look through that and add things to my list. And then I'm not going to answer all the questions, obviously, that would be way too many, but if you like this type of video, make sure to let me know and we will continue this as maybe like a series throughout the winter. That would be a great thing. Get cozy up and answer some questions. We got a lot of questions about the kids and their schooling, what grades they're in, what extracurricular activities they are involved in. So let's start there. We have Everett, who is in 3rd grade, and then Weston, who is in 6th grade, Bennett is in 8th grade, and Hunter is in 10th grade. In the Anchorage School District where we live, K through 5th grade is elementary school, 6th through 8th grade is middle school, and then 9th through 12th grade is high school. Up until just like 2 years ago, 6th grade at most schools in the Anchorage School District was part of elementary school, but now all 6th graders are part of the middle schools, which has made some of the schools in Anchorage really overcrowded in certain areas where they had a lot of 6th graders. The school that my kids go to has always had 6th grade in it, so that was not an adjustment for our school district. But the elementary school that my kids go to did have 6th grade until about 4 years ago. And then they just started sending all the kids to middle school because they didn't have enough kids wanting to stay back at the elementary school. Thank you to Grow Therapy for sponsoring today's video. Life moves fast, and let's be honest, there are a lot of highs and a lot of lows. And sometimes you just need help navigating it all. But actually getting that help for your mental health, that can be the hardest part. Finding the right therapist, long wait lists, finding appointment times that work with your busy schedule. And sometimes just the thought of getting ready and leaving the house can all feel like too much. That's why I want to share with you Grow Therapy, an online mental health platform that's making care easier and fits real life. With Grow Therapy, you can filter by options that fit your lifestyle and the help that you need. And within those parameters, find a therapist who gets you, your identity, your background, your story. You choose the provider who's right for you, and most people can book an appointment in as little as 2 days, even on nights and weekends. Grow works with over 50 insurance plans, including Medicaid in some states. And there are no subscriptions, you just pay per session. To learn more about Grow Therapy, head to the link down in my description below, or use this QR code here for a quicker way to get support and find a therapist. Without leaving your house, you can finally get the support you've been looking for, and that can make all the difference. Last year, the Anchorage School District started this really, what I think is a strange schedule, where elementary school starts early in the morning, and then high schoolers started, and then middle schoolers started last. This made it very difficult if you work, your kids get home very, very early, like 2:30, the elementary schoolers, and the high schoolers used to be home to kind of welcome little brothers and sisters home. They also start an hour late every Monday morning so the teachers can have time to do some collaboration in the morning for an hour. But that means that the middle schoolers don't start school until 10:30 on Monday morning. And it kind of makes Sunday night very difficult because you're like, oh, we don't have to go to school till an hour later tomorrow. It's called Late Start Monday. That was a new thing that happened last year. It wasn't great, but I don't know how you can get those kind of things changed. It was like the school district or the school board had already made their decision, even though a bunch of parents came and complained about it. Now, the things that I'm talking about are just the Anchorage School District. Alaska is a huge state with a lot of different schooling options because rural schools have to have enough students to even get funding, and each school district has different rules for all their schools, all that stuff. So I'm just talking about the Anchorage School District and what I know and what I've experienced here in the Anchorage School District. I was a teacher in the Anchorage School District for several years until I had Hunter, and then I decided to stay home with my kids. So I have seen both sides of the school district. I know that there are good teachers at every school and some not so good teachers at every school. The administration can be kind of tricky to work with, but you can also have really good administration. I just feel like that's everywhere. I do feel like my kids have gotten a decent education in the Anchorage School District. As long as kids live within the boundaries of their school, they do have buses that pick them up and drop them off. They do allow some lotteries where you can go to a school that is not in your neighborhood, then you would have to pick up and drop off your kid. We do have some really cool options in the Anchorage School District. There are some language programs. There's a Spanish school, there's a German school, there's a Russian school where they can learn half their day in a language. We have some STEM schools. We have some just advanced placement schools. So there are different options within the Anchorage School District. All that being said, I did say I had some big news. And that big news is that we have decided to homeschool our boys this year. How do I feel about this? Really, really good. And sometimes really, really overwhelmed, if I'm being honest. We have been homeschooling now for the past month. I'll take you back to how we made this decision. Hunter and Bennett decided last year after going to school that they would like to try homeschooling to see if they could get done with their learning quicker than in school. They found that they had a lot of time waiting for kids to finish up work, a lot of time waiting for kids to behave. Both Hunter and Bennett wanted to see if they could get their schoolwork done faster and how it would be to just learn the things that they really wanted to learn instead of being hindered by a small amount of classes that they could choose from. They'd kind of done all of the different electives that they wanted, but they did want to participate in the school sports. That was a big stipulation for them. They love cross-country running, they love cross-country skiing, track, so they wanted to still be able to participate in those sports. So some of the homeschool programs in the Anchorage School District allow you to participate in sports. Others do not. So I was very careful as I was asking questions. That was on my list. And we went with what was called Family Partnership. They are a charter school with the Anchorage School District so that the boys were able to do their sports. Now, Weston is now in 6th grade, which means he gets to do sports now as well. And he's doing cross-country running and he is absolutely loving it. He wasn't sure how much he was going to love it because I don't know, that's kind of Bennett and Hunter's thing, but he loves being with his friends and he actually is doing really, really well at the running. So we're very happy that they can still participate in the sports. Since Hunter and Bennett decided that they wanted to try homeschooling, it only made sense for us to try with all 4 of the boys because it will just give us more flexibility as a family to be able to travel and to do things together. Hunter and Bennett are going to get to go moose hunting with Mark this fall, which is really special. They've done that in the past, but like taking like one day off and then leaving over the weekend. Now they're going to get to go do a full moose hunt. This will actually be Bennett's first moose hunt because we're homeschooling and they can just catch up when they get back. For Mark's work, he goes and does continuing education every year, and it's usually in Hawaii. And we are all gonna go along on his continuing education trip this year because we have that flexibility. Some other reasons why we chose to do it is just like I said, being able to choose the kids' classes, being able to choose their electives, and having a wider range to choose from. Getting credit for things like driving school, getting credit for things like working. They can get credit for just exercising. They can get PE credit that way. I asked the boys today on the way to a cross-country race, like, what's working with homeschooling? What's not working? And they all said that they really enjoy going at their own pace and not being forced to move on to the next subject if they're not done with something. They also have enjoyed just being able to focus on one thing for longer. Like Bennett decided to work on his history class for several hours, several days in a row, and is already working on a final project. And he was like, Mom, this project would have taken us like 2 weeks in school, and I did it in an afternoon. Like, he just loves that he can choose what he's working on. And the kids say, what if I feel behind? And I said, as long as you're making forward progress in all of your classes each week, I don't think you really can be behind. And it also gives us the ability to dive a lot deeper into certain subjects if the kids are interested in those subjects. Hunter and Bennett are more hands-off. They just kind of like me to look over some of their work. They are doing all online classes. Weston and Everett need a little bit more instruction, and I do some one-on-one work with them in like notebooks and workbooks and things like that. The homeschooling program that we went with, each child gets a certain allotted amount of money. It was different for high school, middle school, and elementary school. The high schoolers got more, and their classes are more expensive, we found, so we were glad that they had a little bit more money. It also pays for things like a computer or an iPad, and will pay for things like your internet so that you can make sure that you have a good, stable internet connection for them to be able to do their online schooling. It will also pay for extracurricular activities, which is pretty fun. The boys are mostly working on their core classes right now, as well as like PE, because they're all in running. And then later on, we'll add in some more fun classes. Hunter and Bennett are both taking Spanish, which is really fun that they're getting to do that online. They have to record themselves talking and actually like really practice. Whereas I feel like when I took Spanish in high school, the teacher never really got a lot of time to speak like one-on-one with me. I didn't ever get to do like verbal tests and things like that. It was mostly just written work. So they do have to type, but they also have to submit themselves talking, and that's going pretty well. So this is a huge change for our family to do homeschooling. We did do homeschooling back in 2020 with the pandemic, but it was more like crisis schooling. The kids were much younger. They were all in elementary school. So we had 3 in elementary school. They all did fine. I really just grabbed the curriculums that the school used, like the exact same math program, the exact same English program, so that when they went back later, they would just be on track with what they were doing. It was fine, but we all know that was just kind of a time of uncertainty. This time, my kids, I have high school, middle school, elementary school, and an almost 2-year-old. So my head is already on a swivel all day long when the kids are in school because they're coming and going. They have different practices. They have different homework schedules. They have different bus schedules. I already felt that overwhelm. I have to say there has been more of a calm in our house because we are all here together in the mornings. We've been having breakfast together every single morning. The kids are in charge of a breakfast and a lunch every single week. On Sunday, we sit down, they tell me what they want to make for their breakfast and for their lunch so that I can make sure that I get those groceries or have them on hand. We all eat that meal together. Then we do scripture study and prayer in the morning together. And then we get our morning routine done of getting ready for the day, brushing our teeth, making beds, gathering up all their supplies for the day. And then by about 8:30, 8:45, we are starting our school day. In the past, it just felt more chaotic in the morning, getting everybody out the door and just making sure everybody had their homework and what they needed and finding their shoes and all that stuff. I really just feel like there's like a piece of just everybody staying home, and we have a little bit more flexibility of when we start things. But to keep things running smoothly for myself and for my business, I've been getting up between 6 and 6:15 every morning to get some work done before the kids wake up. So from around 6 in the morning till 7:15 in the morning, I come down and check my emails, work on videos, make notes of what I need to get done, because I don't really get back into my office until sometime in the late afternoon, which is not normal for me. But I knew going into this that that was what I would need to do. Was I wouldn't be getting to my work until the afternoon when Violet's down for a nap. The boys have pretty much finished all their schoolwork, or they're at their sports. That would be my time to work. So it's nice that I have my pulse on what's going on in the morning, and then I can come back to it in the afternoon. If I didn't take that time to get organized in the morning, I would feel pretty anxious throughout the whole day, like, oh gosh, I need to get in there and work. But now I know that anything really important has been taken care of, and that I can come back to it in the afternoon or in the evening when all the evening activities are over, if need be. As we were contemplating bringing the kids home for homeschool, I did a lot of praying about it, and the answer that kept coming to my mind was that I needed to be very intentional with my time. That I needed to just make sure what I was doing was uplifting me and helping our family move forward, and not, mindlessly scrolling through the day. I try and keep my phone, put away during school time, and just to be very intentional with the kids. And once I decided, like, this is my choice, I want them to be home with me, it didn't feel like a burden. Like, just that mindset of like, I want my kids here with me. It's okay if they're around me. I don't expect quiet. I don't expect a lot of time to just be able to be alone. I don't know. I just set myself up with the expectation, like, I'm choosing to be with my kids, and I'm going to make the most of this time that we are spending together. After we've done a couple hours of schoolwork, we've been trying to go to the gym a few times a week, maybe like 3 times a week. At first, Violet was hating the daycare there, but we've kind of figured out some of the ins and outs and how to make it enjoyable for her. The secret weapon was having Everett go into the daycare with her. Once we figured that out and we showed her the slides in there, she likes the slides, we've been able to make it successfully through a 1-hour workout a few times. So trying to get to the gym a few times a week has been helpful in just kind of breaking up the day. And we make sure we have lunch all together, and the kid that's turn it is to make breakfast and lunch, they stay in the kitchen with me and help clean up. And then they also set the table for dinner, and then we do schoolwork in the afternoon if they still have schoolwork to do. Sometimes that just looks like Everett goes and reads for a while and does some projects on his own, because he typically gets done quicker than the older kids. In the afternoon, the boys have cross-country running. So Weston and Bennett go to the middle school, and Hunter goes to the high school, and that takes up several hours in the evening. Then the middle schoolers have a race one night every week, and the high schoolers have their races on Saturday mornings. So that has been keeping us really busy, keeping up with all the different races and practices. But when we take the boys to practice, drop them off, come home, Everett and I and Violet have been making dinner together. We've been, harvesting things from the garden, making dinner, and Everett has become a real pro at being my little sous chef. And we really, it just gets really quiet, and that has become a very, very special time with my 2 littlest kids. Sometimes he has other activities that he wants to do, but I do invite him to come and cook dinner with me most nights, and that has been really nice. And then Mark usually gets home about 10 minutes before it is time to pick up the kids from cross-country running, and I have found that I actually really like that pickup time for a couple reasons. One, I get a few minutes alone in the car. I don't know, that sometimes feels like a break. 2, there's something about when you're in the car with the kids after they've been at running that they often want to talk about things. And so I enjoy that interaction of picking the kids up from their activities and driving them home. So most nights I let Mark finish up dinner and get it on the table while I go and pick up the kids, because I just enjoy that part. I don't know. There's just something, I've always enjoyed doing that. Even when the kids were in school, I liked picking them up from their after school sports. So homeschooling the kids has really changed my schedule a lot. You may have noticed in several of the last Costco videos that I had kids with me. I have kids with me most of the time. My parents have been here, and Violet spends a lot of time with my mom in the mornings while we're doing our first little session of school. I do take her to the gym with us because I want her to be used to that once my parents leave. But while my parents are here, taking full advantage of little, we call it preschool time with grandma. She does her coloring, she does all her puzzles. They read a ton of books. She watches her nursery rhymes. And it's just a special time for my mom and dad and Violet. I just love the connection that they have so much. And I get to hear all the cute little things that she does from them. And that has been extremely helpful. But my parents will be going back soon, so that will not last. And I know that that was not going to last forever, but we have enjoyed it while it's been an option. If Violet is awake, she does do breakfast and scriptures with us in the morning, and she does just like being a part of everything, and the boys love using her as an excuse to take a break. Yeah! Wow, jump! Hey, can you do a squat? Squat. Squat. Yeah, squat, good.
Do a push-up?
Can you do a push-up?
Push.
Oh wow, one-footed push-up.
What do? Violet, do a handstand.
Just push-ups. Okay, squats again. Squat.
Ow. Squat.
She's like doing little squat thrusts.
Squat.
Wow.
Can you do a jumping jack, Violet?
So once Grandma and Grandpa leave, I will probably be rotating some playtime with Violet into their daily schedule. They all love spending time with her. And then crossing our fingers that she can get a good little afternoon nap. We have transitioned her to one afternoon nap, and that's usually like quiet time, stay out of the upstairs after lunch, and we try and let her get a good nap in the afternoon, especially because some of our evening activities go so long. She needs to have a good afternoon nap. This time of year is often a tricky time for me to make exciting videos anyways, because we're transitioning from summertime where we are just go, 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 go. Then we transition into fall where there's a lot of things going on around back to school and just getting things in order. So I feel like there have been a lot of Costco videos because that's a constant in our lives is we still got to eat. We still got to go to Costco. Honestly, we've been eating really, really well. We haven't been snacking a bunch. We've just been making really yummy meals together. So that has been good. I feel like that has, since we're home and we're eating together, we haven't really been buying a bunch of grab and go snacks. We just have more time to make bread, make some cookies. I wouldn't say that we have a ton of free time right now with homeschooling, but I do feel like we have a lot of freedom in what we're learning and what we're doing. And as we kind of get our routine better down and know what the expectations are for the different classes, there was kind of a big learning curve at the beginning, kind of understanding what each subject required, how, like, what things are graded, what things aren't graded. Anyways, I think as we figure that out a little bit more, we will feel like we have an even more like free time to explore other interests. And I'm really excited about that. The boys have expressed wanting to do some rock climbing at the rock gym in Anchorage after cross-country running ends, which I think could be really fun. And Everett could be included in that, whereas he can't do the cross-country running right now. So that is the big news. We are homeschooling and it is going well so far. I do sometimes feel like my head is on a swivel. Mom, 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 all day. So I'm trying to be intentional and planning some things to decompress and make sure that I'm having a little bit of alone time, that I'm voicing when I need time to work, if that's in the evenings or for an hour in the afternoon when I know that they can be doing their stuff on their own. But I am shocked that my kids just still want to be around around me all the time. Sometimes I think, haven't you seen enough of me? But they still just want to be right there. Very adamant in the beginning, like we need to try and stick to some sort of schedule so that mom doesn't go crazy. And it's been working pretty well so far. I think now that we're a month into it, I've been talking to the boys this weekend, like what do we need to tweak? What do we need to adjust? And it's good to hear from them what they like and what maybe could be a little bit better moving forward. So as we transition into fall here in Alaska, we move into harvesting season. We've got the garden to completely harvest. We have had nonstop rain for the last just about week. So gardening did not seem very exciting, or harvesting things. But we really do need to get in the garden, harvest things, freeze dry some things, get the garden put to bed. We need to get our raspberry patch put to bed. It's just about the end of that raspberry season. You'll see us pick a little bit more in a few more videos as we're just getting the last of them, but we need to get that all put to bed. Hunting season, we are at the end of our moose meet. So Mark and Hunter and Bennett are going to be heading out on a moose hunt. You'll see that we've been working on the sauna, making sure it's ready for winter time. We're trying to button up projects around the yard that you can't do during the winter. I feel like fall is a very busy season for us, just like summer is, but for very different reasons. More home-centered rather than going off on a bunch of adventures. But I feel like some of that is not as exciting to film in videos because we're not going and traveling and seeing different parts of the state. But I just keep filming whatever I can, whatever I feel the energy to do. But right now, a lot of my energy is going into homeschooling the kids, but I know that we will find our groove in that, and I will have more ideas of what I can share here on the channel. But sitting down and doing a video like this where we're just chatting and talking and answering the questions, I think could be some good, like I said, filler videos because we're not doing as many adventures right now. Let's end this video by just talking a little bit more about Violet. She is now 20 months old. I had a bunch of questions about her, and since we talked about the boys, let's talk a little bit more about Violet. She is loving having her brothers home. That girl adores them, and they all adore her. Like, she gets excited when she sees them. She cries when I drop them off and they get out of the car. So she thinks that they are supposed to be around all the time, and she likes it that way. And they continue to just blow me away with how much they love her, how much fun they have with her. It's been so special to watch the boys be the most amazing big brothers.
Fork and fork. Fork. Forks are there.
Hi. These.
Okay, forks. Where do they go? You like spoon. She puts the spoons where the forks go, and the forks where the spoons go. Knife?
I get comments on it a lot, especially at church, like, man, your boys are so good with her, because they kind of fight over who gets to sit by her, who gets to take her to class, things like that. She is in what's called nursery at church. When babies turn 18 months old, then they start going to nursery. And she loves it. She loves it because they do snacks, and we all know that girl loves to eat. They do songs. She loves songs, and they read books and do puzzles. She is all about that. So at first she was a little bit timid, but now that she knows what it is, she's great. And that's kind of how Violet is. At first, she's a little reserved about certain things and lets us know, like, no, I don't want that, like a new person. But once she gets to know that person, she's very receptive and typically will just go along with whatever's going on. I got some questions about whether or not we are going to take Violet fishing and hunting when she gets older. The answer is yes. She's part of the family. She is going to get those opportunities just like the boys get. And we'll see if that's something that interests her. I have a feeling that she'll be just as enthusiastic about the outdoors. She does love being outside. Like, she brings her boots to us all the time outside. She has absolutely loved picking raspberries. one of her favorite things to do with my dad is to go out, pick raspberries, then go swing and do the slide and jump on the trampoline and just go on walks with my dad outside. They have a very, very special bond, which I just adore. My dad has always had a soft spot for the babies of the family, and Violet has been no different. And then she's also named after his mom, Violet. And so I think that gives them an extra special connection, and that she's this last baby of the family. We don't have any other babies, grandbabies. We have great grandbabies, but they don't live near us. She just has a special place in all of our hearts. And we just all know the trouble it was getting her here. And so you just want to hold her just a little bit tighter and just cherish every minute with her because, oh my goodness, she's just so special. All right, I think that's where we're gonna end this video. That felt like a big topic, talking about the homeschooling, how that's changed. I hope that I didn't just ramble, but it has kind of become the focus of our lives right now. So I figured it needed its own video, and it will also kind of explain why we're able to do certain things moving forward. And you'll know kind of the why we chose to homeschool. And I just really feel at peace with our decision. Will we do it next year? I don't know. We'll make that decision next year. We'll see how the boys like it. We'll see how they're thriving. Our school district, this is an interesting thing I didn't mention earlier. They did get rid of cell phones in the classrooms this year. And I think that will tremendously help the distraction level of the kids at school. So I'm actually really happy they did that within the school district. My kids don't have smartphones. They do have cell phones. The older two, they have cell phones, but they can't like get on the internet, get social media, any of that stuff on their cell phones. They're called Gab phones. We've really, really liked them. So they haven't had that distraction, but when all their friends are always on their phone, I knew that that was a major distraction and also just made teaching really hard. So I'm hoping that that's going to help our school district go in the right direction. But we will decide next year what we want to do. For this year, we feel really good with doing our homeschooling so far. And I look forward to the adventures that we're going to get to go on because we are homeschooling. So I can't wait to bring you along for the ride. Thanks again to Grow Therapy for sponsoring this video. To check them out, click the link down in the description below. We are so grateful for each and every one of you. And we will see you again real soon for more of This Alaska Life.
Die.
Mwah.